Welcome back, everybody. The purpose of this video is to open some dialogue on the alleged corruption of the New Testament. Every Muslim I have ever met talks about the corruption of the Bible. No Muslim I have ever met has ever demonstrated any proof of this claim. And so I want to get a dialogue going on this particular topic. So the way this works, for those who aren't familiar, is by my count, there are 40 times in the Quran where reference is made to the Injil, the Gospel, to the Torah, or the Psalms, whether it's individual or some combination of the three, 40 times, just to use a good round number. So it's pretty common. However, when you look at the Psalms, when you look at the Old Testament, the New Testament, particularly the Torah, the Gospel, what you see there does not match what the Quran says, and many times it flatly contradicts it. So if the Quran refers to books that contradict what the Quran says, then the books that the Quran refers to must have agreed with the Quran at some point and then been corrupted along the way. That's the claim that Muslims make. Now, I'd like to narrow this down to the New Testament in particular, because talking about text criticism for the entire biblical text would be an enormous undertaking, and I'm not expecting Muslims to engage at that depth. So let's limit it to the New Testament for the purpose of this video, and if you want some specifics, I've completed, of course, a 5-part video series on Mark's Gospel, and you can watch that. I have some specific examples here: Jesus' divinity from the Gospel of Mark, death by crucifixion from the Gospel of Mark, resurrection from the Gospel of Mark, all of which, of course, flatly contradict the Quran. Now, if you're reading these passages on Jesus' divinity in Mark and you're saying, why is this Jesus, why is this proof of Jesus' divinity? Again, watch my 5-part series on the Gospel of Mark and you'll see why. So if you want, generally, let's keep it to the New Testament, to the Gospels, to make things a little bit easier. And then more specifically, if you want some specific texts to go on that, again, flatly contradict the Quran, then I have some listed here from the Gospel of Mark. Now, I would ask you to put some effort into this. Don't just copy something from some lame website that you read somewhere. Okay, just because something's posted on a website does not mean that it's a good argument. We've seen that over and over again. And that goes to both sides. There's bad information out there on both sides of the argument. So I would encourage Muslims to think long and hard about this. Talk to your imams. Talk to people who have put some time into this topic. Give me some well-researched answers, okay, to these questions. Number one, please define corruption. What specifically do you mean by corruption? When was the gospel corrupted? How was it corrupted? Who corrupted the gospel? And provide some sort of evidence for this. Now, in response, I'll respond to these comments with a subsequent video. I won't respond to them in written form. So I'll give the comments a couple months to accrue, and then I'll collect them, systematize them, organize them, and respond to them in video form. And I'll do this anonymously. I just assume people don't want their names mentioned, and I'm fine with that. And so I won't mention who wrote the comment. And if you want to be super duper anonymous, just message me your answers to the questions. And I promise to honor your desire to remain anonymous. I'll post these 5 questions, as well as my first video to my series on the Gospel of Mark, in the description box. So if you want clarification on why these claims that Jesus made or things that Jesus did were divine claims or divine functions, you can watch that series. And then you can just copy-paste these 5 points into your response and respond to them directly. So make it as easy as I possibly can. So, and like I said, I'll let these accrue, and a couple of months from now, maybe 2 months or so, I will begin to collect everything, formulate a response, and post a video response to these comments. So I'm asking Muslims, as I often do in my comments, prove it. If you think the text is corrupted, you say the text is corrupted, prove it. Let's see some hard evidence, and I hope this video opens some dialogue on this topic. So I'll see you soon in a subsequent video, responding to the comments that we see posted below. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you soon.